Hey guys, welcome back to this bonus episode of Two Finger Point. I'm Kylie,
I'm Amber.
and we're continuing on from this past Tuesday. We just had to do a twofer this week because it was running too long, but also as we were recording it, we realized that it's a little bit more mature. So everyone can have the family friendly on Tuesday, but I would not recommend listening to this with your kiddos around. So maybe just listen during adult time. But
Yeah.
all right. So we're gonna bring back an oldie but a goodie segment, our story of the week, but we're gonna do something a little bit different. So you need a minute.
I'm just fixing. I don't know why my blanket's falling. Okay.
Um, so we found a Reddit thread, and as soon as I saw it, I sent it to Amber, and I was like, "We've got to read this week on the podcast." It's too funny. So someone shared by the name of Tay Jojo. Um, the subject is, what were some of the funniest, most unusual ways someone has gotten termed from the DCP? Um, and so we're just going to read through some of these. I think they're hilarious. Do you want to read the first one?
Just the main story. Yeah, I'll read
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Okay. So the original post says there was this guy, not naming names, who almost made it clear that his only reason to be at the DCP was to get a girlfriend and hang out at the parks all day. He was a creep on the Facebook groups, and from what I've heard, in real life. He'd constantly complain online about how he hated his job, quick service food and beverage, and he even gave out his cell phone number on one of the Facebook groups. People give their phone numbers out on a Facebook group. I would never.
That's weird.
Ugh. Even back when it was like new, no, that's a
Mm-mm.
lie. That's a lie. I straight up was posting my phone number on Facebook. I don't
Were
even
you
know.
really?
Oh, 100%. My
Oh, were you
status.
like, I lost my phone? Everyone text me?
Yes, but also do you remember when we made Facebook groups? Like you would tag all your friends, you'd be like, got a new cell phone, send me your number.
Oh, yeah.
There was that, but also I would set my status as like going to the mall, text me, and I would put my phone number up.
On Facebook?
Facebook, MySpace, wherever.
Girl. Okay,
So bad.
I don't know. MySpace, it was a different time, but Facebook, I feel like we were old enough to know the
I
dangers.
Oh no, I was in high school and I didn't care. Which is so bad. But I don't even have the same number anymore, so it doesn't matter. But like, yeah, I was just throwing it up like, call me.
That's
Um,
so funny.
so I guess they're still doing that in this time. So and then he said, that all came to an end. Oh, so I'll read. So he constantly complained online about how he hated his job, quick service food and beverage, and he even gave out his cell phone number on one of the Facebook groups. That all came to an end about a month after the program began, as he was termed for using inappropriate language in a guest area. He denied any wrongdoing, claiming no guests were within earshot. You still did it in a guest area, case closed,
Mm-hmm.
and posted his sob story on YouTube.
Ooh, I wonder if we could find it.
I would love to. I wonder if there's a connection. There's always a connection and we can find it.
Yes.
And when the news broke out about his firing, my coworkers and I, not in the same location he was at, practically threw a good riddance party.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
I would be so sad if I found out people hated me so much that they threw a party when I left.
Literally. I mean, he was being obviously creepy.
Yes.
I don't like that. See,
It definitely sounds like a full-timer, not a CP.
that's what I was thinking. But like I was telling you earlier, I saw on
Mm-hmm.
some of these Reddit pages, like there there's no real age limit as long as you're in college.
Yeah.
So,
That I think is, yeah. We were talking about that before we started recording, how things are just opened up a little too far for the
oh,
CP,
yeah.
to where it's creating some safety concerns for the people who are rightfully there.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Hopefully they'll clean it up, but I don't know.
All right,
Do you want to
next
read the next
one.
comment for the
Yeah.
next story?
So this one's actually pretty funny. A parking lot CP told to start sending every fourth or fifth car towards the next section as they were getting close to filling the current parking section. So instead, they decided all the white cars were going to get sent to the next section. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny.
So there were several rows of nothing but white cars. Mind you, this is back when maybe 1 in 50 cars have keyless remotes. So I'm not going to say the years, but this was in the 90s. Security was having to drive guests up and down the rows trying to find their car. I get how it's problematic, but this is like one of those harmless pranks.
This is, but first of all, why is security helping you locate your car? You don't know where your car is?
True.
But, oh, okay, wait. Hold on. Okay, sorry. I read this as like keyless cars, like the remote press.
Yeah, so you can't go beep beep.
Yeah, okay.
You have to use your key to get into your car back in these days.
That's still funny, but also I still find harmless, because if you don't know what your car looks like,
Exactly. I think this is hilarious.
I love it.
So yeah, it says using the current naming conventions, I believe most of the cars were being directed into Simba, which was about 75% full, and they were told to start sending random cars to Hook and Scar. So I think that's funny. And then so good. I think this is a separate, the same comment but separate story. So it says one of my fellow interns never managed to get himself termed. Though how a safety role CM manages to show up to a party stoned and get drunk in front of the VP of the park and not get termed is beyond me. At least his extra exit interview left him discolored for weeks afterwards. He got a bucket of red Kool-Aid thrown on him as he exited the shower. The exit interview most of the rest of us got was being tossed into backstage manatee tank when the manatees are on stage while wearing our dry costumes. This was a different time. I guess, yeah. So like in the 70s, you could jump on the stages in Small World. In the 90s, you could party backstage and leave in an event. But when we were there, that was not the case.
They buttoned us up so tight.
Yeah, they were such fuddy-duddies.
Thanks, 90s kids. It's your fault. I'm blaming y'all, okay? Because clearly it's y'all's fault.
I love the parking though. Like,
love.
It's innocent fun.
That is harmless. And again, it's silly. I wouldn't term somebody over. If he really got termed over that, that's absurd. Maybe give him a little reprimand and be like, hey, don't make our jobs harder. But that was funny.
Exactly.
Oh, that's okay. So the next one is a small one, so I'm gonna do the one right after it too.
Okay.
But the first one it's so stupid. Sorry, it makes me laugh. They dressed up like Spider-Man and scaled the outside of an apartment building to a balcony. That's funny.
That's hilarious. I would love to see that. And okay, I wouldn't say that's innocent because you're putting yourself in it. You fall, you're dead.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. So if I were to get out of my car and see that, I'd crack up. I'd also hope they don't fall, but I'm also laughing.
Yeah, maybe put a mattress underneath you so you don't fall like and hit the concrete, but that is hilarious. I love it. To get termed over it, I guess I see it because it's a safety violation to them. So basically like they're not going to tolerate you because you're scaling buildings. They're like, we don't have time for this person.
Or insurance money.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a liability. They don't like liabilities.
But funny. You were funny.
You were funny. I would love to see a video of it. They didn't like there's no time of term, like so we don't even have an idea of like when this was. Had to have been more recent though.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the next one was when I was there, a whole lot of foreign CPs and I think Epcot got fired for running a prostitution ring.
Whoa, that is wild.
I don't know if we want to talk about that.
That's wild.
Do we want to talk about that?
I mean, it's on Reddit. We can read through the thread. S- uh, that's wild.
Okay. Um,
We don't have to either. We can.
we can. No, I'm going through the comments because like it basically, like they said, like I had friends who were also part of the international program that were awesome. So if you're on Reddit, like shout out. But
Oh yeah, like I met not all international. This is not a normal thing. One of my good friends still to this day was international, and I went to visit
yeah.
her. So this is just a wild story we're interested in.
Yeah, and this was before our time.
I guess probably skip the first comment because that is like stereotyping, but
Yeah, I was gonna say it, but I don't think, yeah, that is stereotypical. They're saying like, yeah, I think a few girls from other nations joined up on it that year. It was a wild ride. I did not expect to experience at Disney. And someone said, what could you elaborate further? And so they said, I can't remember all the details. I was asked to work retail in Norway because I fit the look, aka naturally super blonde and pale. Which, okay, hold on. We gotta stop.
problematic.
Low key though, that's how they casted friends of like Ariel and friends
Uh-huh.
of Belle. That's like, it was literally discrimination. Like put you all in a room,
Yeah.
stand you next to each other and be like, yes, no, probably. I never went, but I'm
But
assuming
literally for like the World Showcase, like working retail, it's not even
wild.
like entertainment.
Put a wig on. Also, it'd be really funny to see somebody who's probably got like, dark hair like me wearing. Can you imagine me working in Norway with a
It's a
blonde wig?
retail store though. Like who cares who's ringing you up at the cash register?
You guys already make us look dumb as shit already. Like,
Exactly. There's the
who cares?
costumes say enough. Okay.
So yeah. But it says, I heard stories from some of the people over lunch one day. As someone else stated, they
I
think a
think
specific country
country.
was, yeah, I think a specific country was the main culprit, but also a few other countries, if I can remember correctly, which by the way, I just learned that acronym.
Oh, I was like, okay, maybe it's a typo.
No, I saw one thread one time that was talking about a bunch of like different, acronyms, and this
Hmm.
was one of them. So anyway,
Oh.
um, being the cool elder millennial that
Where
I
the
am,
boomers reading the articles to learn what the kids are saying these days.
I learned something called something being a blinker. What's being a blinker? I don't fucking know.
A blinker is a turn signal to me. I'm just
Thank
gonna keep
you.
it that way.
Me too. Apparently means something else now. Like taking a blinker to go to a restaurant. Like, does it mean like you made a last minute decision to go somewhere?
Maybe? I don't know.
Gen Z? Help? I don't know. But anyway, so I'll go back. So as someone else stated, they think that blank was the main culprit, but also these other countries I can't really remember. Not going to lie, I had a friend slash gross acquaintance that bragged about using this service. And I didn't believe him until I heard about it from their international coworkers.
Oh my gosh. What?
So that yeah, so
This
and then so,
is wild.
I don't even know.
Were we that broke at Disney?
We were broke, but like how like not this broke.
What would you do if your son was at home, I guess?
Crying all alone on the bedroom floor 'cause he's hungry.
I'm so happy you got my reference.
Of course.
But
Um, yeah. This was
but
kind of, yeah. I
and
don't
the
I
fact that like as my experience living in Vista Way, which oh yeah, this by the time this was definitely Vista,
Oh yeah.
I would definitely get it like there's a lot of creepy old men in Orlando,
Mm-hmm.
but for CPs to be your clients, especially with and it seems like it was this prostitution ring was by women and the client was a man. If you're a straight man in the DCP, you are a needle in a haystack. I don't think you need to pay. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just wild to me that this was going on.
I'm not
This
into this.
has
This is crazy.
this because this was before our time.
Mm-hmm.
This has to be why they were so strict.
It has to be because
I wasn't aware of a ring. It was a jewelry
oh,
box.
sorry. I went the other way thinking like it had dwindled down. No, it got bigger. Wait a minute. What the fuck was happening?
Comment.
Oh my God.
It
But
only
I
has
mean,
one upvote. That's sad. That deserves more.
that totally does. That's funny. But yeah, like, oh my God. So yeah, this is, ugh, we thought it was something else. It's clearly this is why they cracked down on us. They must have figured out what was going on here. And by the time we got there, like, they were like, absolutely not.
Yes.
And then yeah, so that was the end of kind of that. Somebody did say, haha, I mean, I'm sure it got exaggerated as the gossip chain flowed. Regardless, I think it's pretty funny and crazy that it even happened. So they're
Hmm.
basically saying like they're corroborating the fact that this was happening around this time,
Oh yeah.
but we just don't know
Um.
how much.
Yeah. I don't. I wouldn't say it's funny. It's crazy for sure.
Crazy, yeah, not funny. I don't know what's funny about, that when they're not paying you enough and you're prostituting yourself out.
Yeah. I mean, I get like there are some people and it's legal in some countries, but it's also somewhat, if you're that young and you're exposing yourself to it's a dangerous job for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah. And someone's got to be like the ringleader.
Oh,
All right. Let's get on to something else. I can't say it's going to be lighter because I don't know what I'm reading, but all right. I had a cast member when I was there, the same arrival date as me, and from outside, he seemed like the stereotype of a castmate. Loud, always smiling, willing to talk to anyone. We were there in the same role and we became friends. He was a terrible worker, and everyone in our role had trouble dealing with him, and he loved to stir the drama part. This sounds like someone I know. Um,
Mm-mm-mm.
he had a crush on this girl who liked some other guy, but he wanted to be friends with all of them. So he told this girl, and she overreacted, making the other guy stay away. And there was a whole HR investigation that he actively would talk about while it was going on. I don't think you're allowed to do that, are you?
Uh-uh.
At Flamingo, he was renowned to have a lot of fun with other CPs, attending many orgies and just sleeping around. He would openly tell other CMs, making them uncomfortable, which led to another HR investigation. And he had two safety reprimands already for poor work ethic related reasons. They didn't have enough on him to get him termed, but they transferred him to another park and he ended up changing his departure date and leaving much earlier.
Yeah, it just seems like as they've gotten through these different years, like they're very lackadaisical when it comes to like creepy guys, which is weird. Like it really doesn't matter which segment of the DCP program. Like it feels like every decade or every year kind of had this problem. There's always
Yeah.
some creepy dude coming to like the first posted coming in to get laid and just that's it.
Yeah. I can't say I knew of anybody on that note from our program in the program, but there were
Yeah.
definitely full timers that were
Oh,
like that.
100. Yeah, I never experienced it either. But I was pretty reserved. I kept my distance from
Hmm.
people. So I made it known I was not looking for that. So maybe that's where I didn't experience it, but I knew they were there. I just wasn't seeking them out.
Yeah. I only knew a handful of straight guys in my program, and I want to say they all had girlfriends. So they were all super chill.
Yeah. I worked more, I mean, there were guys around, but I worked more with girls, which was just the thing because like you said, straight
Hmm.
guys were like a
Needle in a haystack.
yeah, you didn't have them that often. It was weird. It just sucks that this narrative over the years is not really changing.
Yeah.
So there needs to be something implemented about that, I think. But I don't know what you can do, right? Like you can only screen people so much to see like
Yeah.
who they yeah, so I don't know what you could do. I think we're just stuck with douchebags wherever you go.
Yep.
Okay, couple more. I'll read one, and then if you want to read the last one. Okay. So, an ICP. They did their ICP. So that was what was that?
International.
So that is international. So another international one. So one of the kids was terminated for stealing clothes from property control. Prior to that, he brought home a box of tomatoes from the restaurant he worked at.
What would you do if your son is at home?
Needs a box of tomatoes now.
Because he's hungry.
Wait, we could have done better. And the only way to feed him is to steal a box of tomatoes.
Or we can go the Disney way. Gotta eat to live, gotta steal to eat. Otherwise, we get along.
Oh my God, so bad. But I mean,
we were broke at the Disney College program. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I should have stolen food, but I didn't want to get termed for it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I know. Stealing is stealing, but when you're in the food and beverage and this stuff's gonna go to waste anyway.
I had to throw it away by the pound, and I had to sit there depressively throwing it away, knowing I was going home to go eat a Lunchable or something ridiculous for dinner.
Not even.
Yeah.
Lunchable was too bougie for what we could afford. We were eating freezer food from Dollar Tree. Literally. Not exaggerating, guys. Not exaggerating.
Literally.
Okay.
Last
one. A guy on my recent program threatened to burn down one of the pavilions as a joke, and they were looking for an excuse to get rid of him, so they called it a security threat and axed him. I mean,
that is security threat.
It is. I've got too many connections to some crazy wild things that have happened in life, like mass shooting and everything. And so when there's a threat, there's a threat.
Yeah. You don't take that lightly.
No. Not at all.
No, I mean, it's crazy because you have Gen Zers who are very vocal, and they'll just say something at the drop of a hat, and they're like, "Oh wait, I didn't mean it." And it's like, yeah, but you gotta kind of watch your tongue. Like, I know I'm a person who's impulsive with my speech sometimes, and I have to be careful because, yeah.
Well, you remember in like the 90s, a lot of people say, "I'm going to kill you."
Yes.
Like that was just something, I wasn't allowed to say it, but
totally.
I remember people saying that all the time, and I wanted to say it because people would make me angry or whatever, and I would hear it all the time. So my brain would want to say it, and I couldn't.
Yeah, 100%.
Now you cannot say that.
Oh my gosh, like, yeah, there's so many things you have to watch speech with, and rightfully so, but yeah, you can't just be spouting off like, angrily, impulsively, because people take it seriously. It is a safety concern. It's a liability to Disney, especially with all these people living together. You can't be putting a ton of people in danger like that, or threatening them in a sense,
Yeah.
So.
All right, guys. So that was our final comment on this thread, but thanks for joining us for this bonus episode. We just had to make it its own, otherwise Tuesday's episode was going to be too long. But we'll catch you on Tuesday for our normal programming, whatever it's called.
For regular scheduled programming.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.